This is not a love story. This is a story about what happens when adults stop lying to themselves. There are stories people tell to be understood, and there are stories they tell because keeping them inside would destroy them. This is the second kind. I never planned to confess that night. I only wanted a drink, silence, and the illusion that my life was still under control. But control is the first thing you lose when desire, betrayal, and truth collide. I was 42 when I realized that being successful doesn't protect you from being lonely. From the outside, my life looked complete. A respected career, a stable marriage, a home people admired. From the inside, it felt like a well-decorated room with no air. Emily and I had been married for 16 years. We knew each other's routines better than our own thoughts. We had mastered the art of polite conversations, shared calendars, and carefully scheduled intimacy that felt more like obligation than desire. Nothing was wrong, and that was the problem. The invitation arrived on a Tuesday. A simple message. No emojis. No explanation. If you're still the man who listens instead of pretending, come to room 417, Friday, 9 p.m. It was signed with a single letter, L. I stared at my phone longer than I should have. I knew who it was, and I knew I should delete it. Laura, Emily's younger sister. The woman who had always been too quiet during family dinners, too observant, too careful with her words. The woman whose eyes followed conversations rather than participating in them. The woman who once looked at me as if she saw something I was desperately hiding from myself. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself I wouldn't go. I lied. The hotel bar was dim, deliberately anonymous, the kind of place where people came to forget who they were for an hour. Laura was already there. She looked different. Not in a dramatic way, just enough to remind me that time doesn't stop simply because we choose not to look at it. Her hair was shorter, her expression calmer, but her eyes were exactly the same, too honest. "You came," she said. "I shouldn't have," I replied. She smiled softly. "That's why you did." We didn't talk about Emily. Not at first. We talked about work, about the city, about how strange it feels when your life looks settled, but your mind refuses to follow. Then Laura leaned closer, not touching me, not seducing me, just close enough to lower her voice. "I need to tell you something," she said. "And once I do, you'll never see me the same way again." That was the moment I should have stood up. Instead, I nodded. "Do you remember 5 years ago?" she asked. "The summer when you almost left?" My breath caught. Annalie never knew how close that moment had been, how one late night, one unanswered call, one overwhelming sense of being invisible had pushed me to the edge. "I remember," I said quietly. Laura looked down at her glass. "I was there that night." "Where?" I asked. She met my eyes. "In your house." The room felt suddenly smaller. She told me everything. How Emily had known, how the marriage I thought was stable had already been cracking beneath carefully chosen smiles, how secrets had been shared in whispers, not to heal, but to control. And then she said the words that changed everything. Emily stayed with you not because she loved you, but because leaving would have cost her too much. Silence stretched between us. "Why are you telling me this now?" I finally asked. Laura's voice trembled, just slightly. "Because I'm tired of watching people live in lies that slowly kill them." I didn't touch her. I didn't need to. The intimacy was already there, dangerous, invisible, undeniable. When I left the hotel that night, I knew one thing with absolute certainty. My life before that conversation was over, and whatever came next would demand a price. I didn't go home right away. I drove aimlessly through the city, past streets I'd known for years but had never really seen. My hands were steady on the wheel, but inside everything was unraveling. Laura's words repeated in my mind like a quiet verdict. Emily stayed not because she loved you, but because leaving would cost her too much. I had spent years believing our marriage survived because we were strong. Now I wondered if it survived because it was reminding her of something she feared more than unhappiness: loss. Emily was already asleep when I finally came home, or pretending to be. I watched her for a long moment, the familiar shape of her back, the slow, controlled rhythm of her breathing. 16 years of shared life reduced to a question I was afraid to ask. Did she ever love me the way I loved her? The next morning felt artificial. Coffee brewed. News played quietly. She kissed my cheek before leaving for work. "You're quiet today," she said casually. "Long night," I replied. She studied me for half a second too long. "We should have dinner together tonight, just us." It sounded like a suggestion. It felt like surveillance. I met Laura again 3 days later. Not planned, not arranged. She stood outside the bookstore near my office, holding a novel she wasn't reading. "I hoped I'd run into you," she said. "That's dangerous," I replied. Truth usually is. We walked without direction, side by side, not touching. The city moved around us, unaware that something fragile and irreversible was forming between two people who knew better. "I didn't tell you everything that night," Laura said. I stopped walking. "Then don't start now." She shook her head. "You deserve the whole truth, even if it destroys what's left." She told me about the messages, about the ones Emily never sent and the ones she did, about the way my doubts had been discussed like strategy, not concern, about how my loneliness had been seen as a weakness to manage, not a wound to heal. "She was afraid," Laura said quietly, "afraid of starting over, afraid of explaining herself to the world, afraid of losing the version of life she'd already paid for." "And you?" I asked. Laura looked at me, really looked at me. "I was afraid of loving someone who belonged to someone else." That confession hit harder than anything she had said before. That night, Emily confronted me. No anger, no accusations, just a calm that felt rehearsed. "You've been distant," she said, "and secrets don't suit you." I almost laughed. "That's interesting," I replied, "coming from you." Her eyes narrowed. "What is that supposed to mean?" I could have ended it then. I didn't. "Nothing," I said. "I'm just tired." She nodded slowly, accepting the lie with the grace of someone who had been practicing deception for years. Lying changes the air between people. It thickens it, makes every word heavier. I started noticing things I had ignored before, the way Emily controlled conversations, the way affection appeared when I pulled away and disappeared when I leaned in, love as leverage. And somewhere between realization and resentment, desire took a new form. Not physical, intellectual, dangerous. Laura became my mirror, not because she wanted to be, but because she refused to lie to me. "You're not angry enough yet," she said one evening. "That's the most dangerous stage." "Why?" "Because when the anger comes, you'll want to burn everything." She wasn't wrong. The first crack appeared unexpectedly. Emily left her laptop open. I didn't plan to look, but some truths demand witnesses. Emails, old ones, carefully archived. Conversations that framed my doubts as instability, my unhappiness as inconvenience, my silence as permission. I closed the laptop gently. My hands were shaking. That was the moment something inside me hardened. Not hatred, clarity. I realized I wasn't trapped in a broken marriage. I was trapped in a story someone else had been writing for me, and I was done being a character. That night, I sent Laura a single message. "We need to talk, and this time I won't pretend anymore." Her reply came instantly. "Then be ready. Truth doesn't just free you, it tests what kind of person you really are." I met Laura at her apartment. That alone was a decision. Not impulsive, not emotional, deliberate. The kind of decision adults make when they already understand the cost and choose it anyway. Her place was quiet, minimal, almost carefully empty. No unnecessary decoration, no photographs on the walls. It felt like a space designed for honesty, not comfort. "You don't live like someone who plans to stay long anywhere," I said. Laura shrugged. "I move when places start holding too many memories." That should have warned me. We sat across from each other, a careful distance between us. Two people who knew that crossing even an inch would change everything. "I read the emails," I said. She didn't ask which ones. "Then you finally saw her," Laura replied. "I saw the version of her I was never supposed to meet." Silence settled, heavy but not awkward. "And now?" she asked. I leaned back, exhaled slowly. Now I understand that my marriage didn't slowly fall apart. It was managed, maintained, curated. How does that make you feel? I thought for a moment. Replaced. Laura looked at me sharply. Replaced? Yes, as a partner, as a voice, as someone whose feelings mattered. She nodded, not surprised. "That's how control works," she said. "It doesn't destroy you, it makes you unnecessary." The first touch happened by accident, or at least that's how we pretended it was. Her hand brushed mine when she reached for her glass. No tension, no rush, just warmth, sudden and undeniable. We both froze. "This can't happen," I said quietly. "I know," she replied. Neither of us moved away. What followed wasn't passion, it was recognition. Two people seeing each other without masks, without roles, without obligation. The intimacy lived in pauses, in the way our voices softened, in the unspoken understanding that neither of us was innocent anymore. "If we continue," Laura said, "it won't be because we lost control." "No," I agreed. "It'll be because we finally took it." I went home late. Emily was awake, sitting on the couch, lights off, television muted. "Where were you?" she asked. "Thinking," I replied. She smiled faintly. "Funny. That's usually when people stop talking to me." I looked at her, really looked at her. "Emily, do you think we're honest with each other?" Her smile disappeared. "Honesty is overrated," she said calmly. "Stability is what keeps people alive. Or slowly kills them," I replied. That was the first time she didn't answer. The next weeks became a quiet war. Emily became attentive, present, almost affectionate. The version of her I had missed, suddenly available. Too available. Too late. Laura became distant, intentionally. Short messages, fewer meetings. "We're circling something dangerous," she warned me, "and I won't be the excuse you use to avoid making a choice." She was right. I was standing between two truths, hoping one of them would choose for me. The turning point came unexpectedly. A dinner invitation. Emily's parents, Laura included. A perfectly set table, carefully selected wine, laughter placed exactly where it belonged. And then Emily said it. "We've been thinking about renewing our vows." The table went quiet. Laura didn't look at me. 16 years is something to celebrate," Emily continued. "Don't you think?" Everyone waited for my answer. I felt the weight of every lie, every compromise, every unspoken truth pressing against my chest. "I think," I said slowly, "that celebrations mean nothing if they're built on silence." Emily's eyes hardened. "That's an odd thing to say." "Only if you're afraid of being heard," I replied. Laura stood up. "I need some air." She left, and Emily finally understood. That night, after everyone was gone, Emily confronted me again, this time without calm. "Is this about her?" she demanded. "This is about me," I answered, "and the man I stopped being to keep you comfortable." "You're imagining things," she said sharply. "You're creating drama where there is none." "No, Emily, I'm ending it." Her breath caught. "Ending what?" I met her eyes. "The lie." That was the night I slept on the couch, and the night I realized something irreversible had already happened. I no longer feared losing my marriage. I feared losing myself if I stayed. The morning after felt unreal. Not dramatic, not explosive, just empty. Emily left early without a word. No slammed doors, no tears, only the quiet efficiency of someone who had already switched to survival mode. That scared me more than anger ever could. By noon, the first message arrived. "We need to talk," not as husband and wife, as adults. I read it twice. She had finally chosen honesty. Or so I thought. We met in a neutral place, a small restaurant near the river, public enough to prevent emotion, private enough to allow control. Emily arrived composed, elegant, calm, the woman who always knew how to present herself when something was slipping away. "I assume this is about Laura," she said without greeting. "It's about us," I replied. She smiled faintly. "It always comes back to us, doesn't it?" She didn't deny what I knew. That was the second shock. "I was protecting what we built," Emily said evenly. "You were drifting. I kept us stable. By deciding for both of us? By being realistic," she corrected. "Love fades, security doesn't." I stared at her. "You turned my doubts into weakness. You managed my silence." She leaned forward. "And you benefited from it. Don't pretend you didn't enjoy the comfort." She wasn't wrong. That truth burned. Then she delivered the real blow. "If you leave," she said calmly, "you lose more than a marriage." "Is that a threat?" "It's information," she replied. "I know things about you, about your career, about mistakes you trusted me with." I felt something inside me go cold. "You'd destroy me?" Emily didn't hesitate. "I'd protect myself." That was the moment I understood. This was never about love. It was about control, and control never lets go without a fight. "Laura called me that night. She spoke to you, didn't she?" "Yes." Laura exhaled slowly. "Then you know what she's capable of." "I do." "And now?" I closed my eyes. Now I stop playing defense. The next weeks were precise, strategic, adult. No shouting, no scenes, just preparation. I documented everything: emails, messages, timelines. I spoke to a lawyer, not about divorce, but about leverage, about protection. Emily noticed the shift. "You've changed," she said one evening. "You're calmer." "So are you," I replied. She studied me carefully. "You think you're ahead." "No, Emily. I think I'm finally awake." The confrontation came unexpectedly. Not between us, between the sisters. I wasn't there, but Laura told me later. Emily had gone to her apartment unannounced. "You crossed a line," Emily said. "You built the line," Laura replied. "I just stopped pretending it wasn't there." "He's confused. He's free." That word enraged her. "You think you won?" Emily asked. "No," Laura said quietly. "I think you lost when you chose fear over truth." The fallout was immediate. Emily contacted my employer, not directly, subtly. Questions framed as concern, doubts disguised as loyalty. But I was ready. What she didn't know was that every conversation she had ever used against me now existed in documented form. And control hates documentation. When I finally told her I was filing for separation, she didn't cry. She laughed softly. "You think this ends well for you?" I looked at her, the woman I once loved. "It ends honestly," I said. "That's enough." That night, Laura and I met again. No celebration, no triumph, just two adults sitting in the quiet aftermath of truth. "This is where people usually make mistakes," she said. "They confuse clarity with victory." I don't feel victorious, I admitted. Good, Laura replied. It means you're still human. She stood to leave. What happens to us? I asked. She paused at the door. That depends on who you choose to be now, not who hurt you. I was alone again, but for the first time in years, the silence didn't suffocate me. It felt earned. The divorce was finalized on a rainy Thursday. No courtroom drama, no raised voices, just signatures, polite nods, and the strange sensation of watching a life end without a single dramatic moment to mark it. Emily didn't look at me when it was over. Take care of yourself, she said formally. You too, I replied. And that was it. 16 years reduced to a mutual agreement and a clean exit. The silence afterwards was different. Not empty, not heavy, honest. I moved into a smaller place near the water, fewer rooms, fewer memories, fewer reasons to hide from myself. Lara and I didn't rush into anything. That mattered. We met for walks, coffee, conversations that didn't need conclusions. Two people rebuilding their inner architecture after choosing truth over safety. People think freedom feels like relief, she said once. And it doesn't? Not immediately, Laura replied. First, it feels like responsibility. She was right. Freedom demands presence. A month later, she asked me something unexpected. If I hadn't told you the truth, would you still be married? I didn't answer right away. Yes, I said finally, and I would have died slowly without knowing why. She nodded. Then I didn't save you. No? You chose to wake up. I just removed the blindfold. Emily tried one last time. Not with threats, with nostalgia. A message appeared late one evening. Do you ever miss what we were before things became complicated? I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, I miss who I thought I was, not the life we were pretending to live. She never replied. Laura and I stood on the shore one evening, watching the water darken as the sun disappeared. Are you afraid of starting over? I asked. She smiled softly. No, I'm afraid of starting over with someone who isn't honest with themselves. She turned to me. Are you? I thought about the lies I had lived with, the comfort I had mistaken for love, the silence I had mistaken for peace. I'm learning, I said. She took my hand, not as a promise, not as a claim, as a choice. We didn't define what we were. Adults don't always need labels. We allowed something rare to exist, a connection built not on need, but on awareness, on the understanding that love isn't proven by sacrifice alone, but by courage. Sometimes, late at night, I think about how close I came to staying asleep, to choosing stability over truth, silence over voice, comfort over integrity. And I realize something most people never admit. The most dangerous lies are the ones we agree to live with. Growing up isn't about choosing the right person. It's about choosing not to betray yourself.